like to welcome everybody this evening. We'll start out with the public comment period. Do we have?
We don't.
We don't, okay. We'll move forward then. Let's go to the consent agenda, which includes the minutes from the previous meeting, appropriations, and there are no lake cabin transfers this time. So does anybody want to make a motion to accept that agenda? So, okay, thank you. Second? Who was that? Mark? Okay. We moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor?
I'll abstain.
Okay. Opposed? Okay, 1 abstention. 5. Okay, motion carries. The North Riverwalk Extension update. Nick, that will be you.
So obviously with the rain, things have slowed a little bit, but they got a good portion of that concrete sidewalk poured. I don't know if any of you guys have been over there to look at that. They're almost to that drainage tube and that dike over there. So they're moving right along. If they get some good weather, we're hoping to have the concrete done hopefully the next week or so. And then L&S Lighting is hoping to get in here in the middle of June instead of waiting until July. They have some stuff they finished up faster than they thought they would be, so they're hoping to get in here in the middle of June to start the lighting portion of that project.
Good.
So,
The rocks, the big rocks are looking really good along there.
yeah, they've done a good job.
Yeah. On the north side, where they've got, big rocks kind of, they're not laid, they're chunked in there kind, is that the way that will stay?
Yeah, riprap,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's to hold the bank there.
I've had somebody ask me that, I just told them I was pretty sure.
Yep.
So, okay. Anybody have any questions? That project? Okay, moving on. Riverwalk Amphitheater update?
Cree Construction completed their concrete work Friday around 7 p.m. They will be back to finish cleaning up some of their stuff, but they got most of the things out of there. The city crews are planning on hauling in some dirt to finish up. We bought some Lego blocks for the handicap seating to start the 14th row. Jeff said we needed to go probably ahead and do that, so we got the Lego blocks. MCM made us a good deal on that. They delivered them for free. It's about $700 to get them delivered. They delivered them for free, so we appreciate that. Rob Eichman did that. So they're working on that, and then our guys are gonna start cleaning up down there and kind of getting ready for festivities that are coming up in the near future.
Okay. Anything else that we need to know about or?
Nope, Evergy's been there. They've installed the power. Jason Ziegler's gonna let it dry out a little bit before he installs his pad down there, and then
Are the solar lights for the sites here?
those won't be in time. No.
They won't be, okay, so we'll have to figure out some kind of,
Well, yeah, with Shunny Days, what they usually do, they buy those generators that have the lights. I don't remember if you guys remember those from last year. They had those sitting out there. So we'll be okay.
okay,
Yep.
just don't want anybody to trip and fall.
Yep, I understand.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions about Riverwalk? Looking good. Okay, new business, Chamber of Commerce request for Shunga Days Parade and Fireworks. Susan?
Never had to do this, so I don't know the protocol, but thank you.
We'll be fine.
We just wanted to ask if we could close the roads for the parade and also if we could have the fireworks show.
So she's submitted the application to Joe Palick. The state has to authorize that. She emailed him, he said send it in, then Joe Palick's gonna send the copy to the Sheriff's Department and to Sean okaying it. Sean doesn't have an issue with it, obviously, because we do it every year. So,
I believe they have the paperwork by now.
yeah, they did.
Okay.
So Joe Palick called me, so.
Okay, so that's, and then the fireworks show, you're going to do it down,
Yeah, down there where they normally do it in the, on the north side over there and down that valley, I've told Jason and them that they could not shoot fireworks off the sidewalk. So, and if they decide to do that, they put down like sheeting or something like that, so it doesn't mark up the sidewalk and turn it black or anything like that. So they've been advised, and no gas bombs on the sidewalk. So,
Getting a little particular, Nick.
well, $400,000 sidewalk.
we want it to be pretty, don't we?
I can just imagine their feedback on that, let that happen. So.
Okay. I think we can probably vote on these both at the same time unless somebody has an objection to that. Anybody? Okay, do I hear a motion?
So we'll move.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay. Moved and seconded to get the chamber their request of having the fireworks over on the north side and closing the roads for the parades as permitted by the state and
Yep.
the county and police will work with that. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you. And if I can have one more minute, I've never been to city council meetings before, and I was in here a couple weeks ago and you guys were talking about the water bill. I had no idea how much discussion went into raising my water bill. And I was so impressed with all of you because you had to consider the employees also. And you considered all of us paying the water bill. And I always wanted to write a note and I didn't get it done, so this was my time to tell you thank you, because I truly appreciate that.
Well, thank you for paying the extra fee.
Which brings up a good point. I want my old water meter back.
Yeah, she's actually
It read better.
You have one of the good ones, huh? Community fence application, Route 56 LLC. Huh?
Councilman, councilwomen, Mr. Mayor. I came and asked you guys already, and like I said, Nick asked that I fill out the application, and then a map here. I know doesn't give much of an explanation of where it's at on the actual application, but I did make up a map. I don't know
on page 11.
of the area that we would be using. So I know I mentioned the Riverwalk Park, and I failed to talk to Aaron Doty yet about going over behind the high school just because I have so much faith that it's going to be nice and dry and beautiful that weekend, and I'm not worried about it. But so just a little area there. You can see where the award ceremony would be in the covered area by the park. I was going to run the motorcycles up along the top there, put the food vendors on top of the hill above the stadium seating. I have not been able to get them to return my calls from the folks in Kansas City that do the projection and theater sound for the movie. I don't know what the heck they're doing, if they've gone out of business, because they were talking to me quite a bit 3 months ago, and now I can't get them to return a call. So that's still up in the air, but all in all, I mean, that's kind of tail end of the event. We'll have fun either way, but I went down and walked out that whole area where the location for the car parking is on a pretty wet day, and it was not bad. It was pretty easy to walk around down in there, and obviously we'd be super cognizant of the fact that it could be, and we'll get out of there if it is, but I'll keep track of that. I got about 10 people that are going to help me with parking and directing cars and motorcycles and registration and judging and stuff like that. So anyway, do you guys have any questions on the map or concerns?
I did not go through this as well as I should before the meeting. Could you, and for the people that are here, could you kind of go over again the fees that are going to be, how the finances are going to work on this?
As far
Are
as...
you going to charge for the movie?
No, there will be no charge to the public. The only people that'll pay any fees are the people that are entering a car. So they're just basically entering, they're paying the fee to be judged to possibly win a trophy.
Okay.
So it'll be like $15 a car is what it'll end up being.
Okay, and that money will be used for the trophies and...
Yeah, and then, yeah, we got a few people. We're going to just put that in an account and continue to grow on that every year, you know, so keep building on it and, you know, work at maybe like the softball club or whoever, you know, so.
That was the same as it was when we talked before, so I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, that's...
Does anybody else have any questions about it? Okay.
Not gonna have any alcohol sales or,
I'm not planning on it.
okay.
I didn't really want to mess with that too much, especially the first year. Maybe in the future if somebody wants to take that on, but not me.
Okay.
So,
Okay, and so we've already given permission
right.
on this, so I don't know that we need...
Yeah, so so when he came in, he gave you guys a presentation. You guys didn't vote, that I recall. You said that, yeah, you'd be fine with it, but we needed a community events application with a map so we could see what was being proposed.
Oh, okay,
So it still needs to be voted on.
so we still did...
But you guys were fine with what he presented.
Okay.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay,
Make a motion that we accept the plan as it's presented.
okay. Do I hear a second? Okay. Been moved and seconded to allow the Flint Hills Get Down put on by Route 56 LLC or Route 56 LLC. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 6-0.
Thanks, guys.
Okay.
Thank you, Alan.
we see them.
Okay, next up is Story Media presentation, Deidre Knight and Lindsay Hickman. And this is the scope of expanded.
Yeah, you guys have a packet up there
Uh-huh.
on your, somewhere.
So you all have this in front of you, correct?
Yeah,
You guys see this now?
You want to?
I do, thanks. So, as you all know, we entered into a working relationship together in October of 2019 to outlay social media services for the city of Council Grove. In that we do website updates, YouTube updates, and Facebook and Instagram maintenance. So currently, we're working on all of that for you, and we were approached by Nick in the city to expand that role a little bit. And I think what you're looking for, what we talked about when we've met in the recent past, is for more work concerning the amphitheater when that's ready for booking, to expand the events that come to this area, to make it easier for clients, customers to book the amphitheater for whatever kind of event you're interested in having here. So this proposal just kind of works through what we thought, the information that we're all working with, the city is interested in for expansion of our role. So we met last week, I guess, with Nick and Debbie and Larry and some chamber board members to discuss how to kind of work together to do cross promotion for the chamber and the city of Council Grove, so that we're sending the same message and on the same page and promoting a united front to any tourists or new residents, passersby that are interested in Council Grove. So there's a list of goals here in this proposal. There's a couple pages there that you can go through if you haven't already. And if you have any questions, we're happy to answer them, but we're also happy to go through them, kind of talk about them more if you would like us to do that as well. So whatever works for you all, we're here to answer those questions for you.
You want us to go through it? We can go through it.
I would just go
Sure,
through it.
okay, sure.
Yeah.
Everybody here can hear.
Okay, so that first point there is what we already do, what we're currently under contract for. And then from there on out, we kind of expanded that role. So the first point there is work with news media and other advertising agencies to promote Council Grove. So that includes things like press releases, advertising. Currently, the city doesn't have a budget for advertising beyond what we do. So all the things that we do are, there's no other fees associated besides our labor. So this would expand that quite a bit. Create a booking platform and manage bookings for the Neosho Riverwalk Amphitheater. What that would look like is on the city website, we would create a calendar similar to what you see on Airbnb or Expedia, something like that, to show available dates and then available prices for lengths of time, etc. However you all are interested in setting up that format, we would outlay that platform for you. That would be housed on the city website, and then payment would be direct to the city, not to us. The amphitheater events, similar to that, we would manage the booking of those events and then work with the city to develop a budget for what you foresee those looking like, whether you're looking to book concerts or weddings or other community events.
Recitals, yeah.
Anything,
Band.
whatever you're interested in.
Community band.
Yeah.
Those things.
Yeah, and obviously our part in that would look a little different based on what kind of event we're looking at. So if you have a 2-hour afternoon event where Boy Scouts want to have a Pinewood Derby race, that would look a little bit different than a weekend-long concert as far as the labor and the setup involved. The special events and promotional materials, those kind of go hand in hand with what the chamber is already doing. So we really want to be able to work closer together with the chamber to create stronger branding for Council Grove in this area, so people really know what they're getting when they come here. If you have any questions about that, definitely we can talk about that more, but that's pretty much chamber focused and working with them to coordinate that message. Press releases and newsletters, that's something I talked about already in the advertising piece. Crisis communication. This is actually included in what we already do. If there's a water main break, Nick tells us, we put that on the website, on Facebook to alert people of what's going on, things of that nature. Public trust and increasing public awareness of city entities, those are definitely already included in what we do also. So we do that by putting as much information out as we can for the city on the website so people have a place to access that information. So they don't, hopefully, they feel less of a need to call the office or ask around for answers to their question. There's one place, ideally, that they can find the information that they need.
Have we set up any kind of fee structure for the amphitheater use?
Not at this time. That needs to, now that we're nearing completion of the first phase,
Right.
we need to look into that. Did that answer?
Mhm.
Okay, anybody else have questions about that? Okay, I have a couple of questions. The chamber, when you were talking about branding, you're talking about expansion on the branding we've already done, what, with our city logo and
Yes, absolutely.
signage and
Yeah.
such? Okay. And then, and anybody else jump in, I just have some questions, so if anybody has questions, let's get them out here. Okay, managing operations and execution of the Neosho Riverwalk Amphitheater events. That is vague, so I need to get a little bit more information on that. So I come to you, I say I'm going to have a 70th birthday party, okay, for someone. Not me yet. I'm getting there. But anyway, having a 70th birthday party. So how far into the managing of that do you anticipate you will go? I mean, I know you're going to have to coordinate with Nick, but where does that lie? Where, like, who tells me, like if I say, I need electricity at this certain place, or if I need a table
Right.
put here, or whatever, what does that look like?
Yeah, absolutely. So the way I kind of explained it to Nick when we first started talking about it was, at a wedding, there's a bride who makes a lot of decisions, writes a lot of checks, things like that. But there's also a wedding planner who makes sure everything is in place at the right time when it's supposed to be there. So that's kind of our role as we see it in this position. So what we would do is create a handbook sort of for renters of the amphitheater. So when they go there, they know where the electricity is, if they have a question about where ATMs are in town, all that information would be there. If there are needs on-site day of, hopefully we can do our best with pre-planning to mitigate those things, but definitely we're already on call for the city all the time, so that would continue to be part of our role.
So would you actually sit down then with them originally and say, they tell you we want to do this, this, and this, would you sit down with them, or would, being the booking agent, that would be what you would do?
I think it kind of depends on what this role
How
evolves.
deep it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
involves into looking like, because right now I don't think we or you all really know what these events are going to look like at the amphitheater. So if these are, like I said, weekend-long concerts or a 2-hour afternoon thing, that's different.
Two different things.
Very different.
Completely.
So I think we need to definitely get our feet wet and start to see what this will look like, and we'd love to be able to come back to the table and say, hey, we need a little help, hey, this is too much, or hey, we can do more if you would like us to.
Are you planning to be on site during the events?
Yeah, like, I think, as I mentioned, it depends on what the kind of event is, so.
A week-long concert? You can be on
Yes,
site.
much more
Yeah.
involved, yeah.
A 70th birthday party where,
Probably not.
For Debbie, no,
Right.
probably
Yeah.
not. But maybe we would be there.
I don't know, I got some wild. No, but, yeah, that's that kind of, you know,
Yeah.
does that kind of answer, get information to y'all that,
It gets us pointed in the right direction, you know.
okay, there's a lot here.
Different events are gonna require different things, different, you know, trash cans.
Yeah, and I think as the events come up, we'll have to have a group get together and decide how that's supposed to look, depending on what the event is. I don't think there's any way to just say this is how it's gonna be. I think it's a case by case, event by event, until we have an understanding of what those events are gonna entail.
Yeah, because it's gonna be, like you guys said, the execution of it's gonna be different each event, and it's kind of hard to foresee any of that right now, even any of it, you know, right now, other than the experiences we've had with Washunga Days and, you know, I mean, the first concert, whatever that may be, we'll probably learn a lot, you know, so, anyway, okay.
I have a question. It's not in the packet here. This would be contract labor and compensation.
Sure. So right now we do website, social media work for the city of Council Grove for $1,000 per month, so $12,000 per year. And what we have discussed is that we would add on the rest of this package for $2,000 more per month, so $3,000 total per month, which would be $36,000 per year. But the administration of the booking platform and the booking and all the extra promotion would be $2,000 per month, so $24,000 per year.
And if the city were to decide to go this route, this would just be, I don't want to use the word temporary, but this would not be a permanent position that we'd be creating, correct?
Well, contract labor, you're not creating a position, it's just contract labor. That's the difference between hiring somebody full-time, sending benefits and all that, and contract labor, you're not, so at any time, you can end a contract. So that's the difference between the two. And like I said, we'll have to have that discussion when we do budgeting to figure out what we'll do if we decide to hire somebody full-time or continue contracting or whatever that may be, so.
Anybody have questions about the fees? Okay. Do you guys have questions of us?
I think the only thing I would add is that we would love to grow this opportunity and grow this role. If you want us to do more with the amphitheater, we would love to have the need to grow our company to hire employees to be able to do that for you. We're, you know, a new little business here, and we would, we're not opposed to growing. That's something we're definitely interested in, and we'd love to do what's best to serve you all and serve this community.
So would you decide what events would be held at the amphitheater?
Oh, I don't believe so, no. I mean, I think that would be, it's the city's amphitheater, it's not ours.
You'd be their first point of contact possibly.
I think if there were certain events that we obviously knew weren't appropriate, we might say no, but also include Nick or whoever else in those discussions.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
I'd definitely be interested in seeing what it looks like put together. So,
Yeah, your equipment, the guide. There were most of you weren't at the meeting that we had last week, but we did talk about the importance of whoever we work with, working very closely with the chamber, that it's an important, you know, it's an important pairing there, that the two people work together closely, so.
So the meeting you had with the chamber, is the duties that you worked out with them, is that addition to these duties here?
Yeah, so we wouldn't do work for the chamber paid by the city of Council Grove. And we haven't determined if, when, or how we will do paid work for the chamber. We've started with some small stuff that we've helped out with, but we're not under contract to work with them at this time.
Right, thanks.
But you would be willing to do that as time goes
Yes.
on?
Yeah,
So that we
absolutely.
could have cohesiveness?
Yes,
That was
absolutely.
That was necessary, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think part of our role that we already do is stay in communication with the chamber, so we're on the same page.
Okay.
I know we're kind of in maybe a time crunch here, but personally, I'm not sure I'm ready to vote on this tonight. I mean, the dollar amount just came to us now, and I'd like to get a little feedback from the community. That's just my personal opinion. The council can do whatever they want to.
Nick, have you done any research into seeing what other agencies like this get for fees?
A lot more. I mean, they're 3,000 is pretty cheap in comparison. I talked to Joe Rohr at Abilene and stuff like that, and kind of ran by her, and she said that's a pretty good price. So,
The people that I've talked to hire like an actual visitors bureau leader have been anywhere from 57 to 70 a year. So that kind of gives you an idea. I don't know.
and then you have benefits and
Yeah, and then you'd have, if you hired them, you would have benefits.
Right.
So,
I'm
That's a good
guessing that
point.
there's a lot of work that's gonna go into this, creating the handbook you talked about. There's a lot of infrastructure, I guess you would say, that goes into this that's not even in place yet. So I can certainly see a lot of hours just behind the computer before you ever do anything, you know, at a physical, you know, event or anything.
Yeah. And I think something that we talked about in that chamber conversation, we likened it to the trolley. We need people to rent that trolley. We need people to rent the amphitheater. But if people don't know it's available to rent, then it's not going to happen. If you Google trolley rental near me, the Council Grove trolley doesn't pop up. And we need people to find this information to know that they can have an event here, for this to be a source of income for the city.
well, and a lot of events, and I understand, Mark, your point that we may or may not want to do it immediately. I'm not trying to rush into anything at all. That's not what I'm trying to say, but I do think that it's important that we get it done fairly quickly, because we're coming upon a lot of events that we have this year,
Yeah.
and we don't want those to slide by. People are already planning their vacations. You know, for several people are going on vacations this week, so, you know, if they, you know, some things are going on, so I would just, you know, encourage us to, you know, not
I
put it
can
off too long.
appreciate
Yeah.
Mark's point, but I think too, like you said, which is one of the reasons we wanted to get it done, because we got a lot of things already coming on in the works and underway, and I don't think anybody in the room knows what to expect with this. And like Deidre pointed out, hopefully it's something we're all gonna look at and go, wow, that was a great move by all of us to get this thing underway,
So hypothetically, if we did vote to go ahead with this proposal, what do you envision the first event down there that you would be a part of?
I think it depends on the booking. So
Well, I
I
mean,
don't,
would Washunga Days be part, is that too soon, or would it be something, I mean, I'm just trying to get an idea of,
yeah,
to go with Mark's point, you know, on timing and everything.
yeah. I think Washunga Days already knows about the availability at the Riverwalk, what they need to bring in, what's there that they can use, things like that. But definitely the weekend of the 26th or something like that, we could, whatever that weekend is, we could definitely participate in something if there's.
Well,
if there's-
Councilman, one thing I could see is our city-run events, the Santa Fe Trail events, it's a city program.
We can
I-
get started.
Yeah, I could see that
You
if
could-
we,
Yeah.
they could be involved
You
in
could
that,
help a lot.
absolutely.
Right, and those are the things that are just far enough out, hopefully they would have time to get, you know, their feet wet with it, and then
Because these are city events that we're doing, so.
Even though
And-
my
and there's not a-
it's so coming so
Yeah,
quickly.
it's pretty quick. I don't know if they could get on board
Yeah.
that quick for Michael Martin Murphy or not, but.
Well, it could probably be added on to some of your sites already, but, you know, and as far as, there's no booking, so to speak, of that at this point. I mean,
It's already
those are
booked.
already kind of set, yes.
more so you want to
set.
start doing more promotional stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
helping greatly on that would
But
be.
there's a lot of all
Yeah.
the events all summer. If we could get that started right away, it would be really, really
Yeah,
good.
and they can come down to Michael Murphy and watch the event and kind of see how it goes and where we need help at and kind of the logistics of how that's gonna run down there. So,
I think it is a real question of how you manage events, and particularly events coming in, and that's a real challenge. But
Yeah,
it's a
definitely.
good challenge.
Yeah, for larger, I know you know this, Sharon, but for larger, like musical acts like that, there are contractual obligations. And we know, we've worked with those in the past, so we know how to make sure those things happen, make sure those things are in place, whether it's a certain number of restrooms that have to be there, certain access to electricity, things like that. We're definitely familiar with how to make those things happen.
So, I keep asking questions, I'm sorry, but let's say you see a great opportunity for a particular band that's going to be in the Midwest. Would you see that and then come to the council and say, I think we ought to bring that band in here, the city signs a contract, and then you guys take care of it? Is that
We
fair to
definitely
say?
could. Yeah, we'd be open to be doing that, to do that if you would like us to, for sure, yeah.
That's kind of what I see it as,
Yeah,
you know,
and I
if we
think-
had a
I think it'll
CBB
take
director, I see the
a
same
year
thing.
to 18 months for people to start to realize that the venue is here
Right.
and available. So if they're on a trip from Kansas City to someplace else and they have an overnight, they can drop in here and do a quick concert and keep on moving and put some money in the till to keep going.
Yeah, we'd definitely like to help you brainstorm, come up with ideas like that. We know, things about the way routing works. Sometimes people will be passing through on a Thursday on the way to their next destination and be able to book cheaper. And we definitely love to help you come up with some sort of programming for that, whether it's people know the third Thursday of every month there's going to be music at the Riverwalk in the summertime, or any other kind of programming you're interested in.
Yeah, or making sure those things come up on Google, so when someone does search musical events in the area, that will pop up so that they can see that.
So if we ever get which we are, I don't say ever, but get a back screen back there on the stage, if we decide we want to have movies shown down there, that would be something that you guys would,
We could help promote that.
okay. So just help promote, or,
We will promote it.
I guess I'm not clear on this. You would set it up and promote it, or just promote it?
Both.
Okay,
We
okay.
manage the booking aspect, so when
Okay.
the information comes in, we
Okay.
manage that calendar
Okay.
and the transaction. And then it depends on, if that's an all-in-one thing, if this company, business, whatever, brings this whole setup to Council Grove, we can plug and play with them and give them
Okay.
the information, or we can organize the setup for them. This is where the electricity is, this is what kind of a stage you'll need, this is what is available here already, or what you need to bring in.
Okay.
yeah, kind of what I talked to them about when we met, it kind of went back to the meeting we had with the chamber board, was boots on the ground. Will you guys be the boots on the ground, making sure events are going the way they're supposed to be going? And the answer was yes, they would do that. I think that's what you're probably looking for, more so, isn't it, Mark? To know
Yeah.
if they're gonna be on site to help out with things, if there's a need for it.
Yeah. And then I guess if there's need for hiring gatekeepers and things like that, that could be run through you and Nick, I guess,
Yeah.
to hire people to,
Yep.
because we'll need that at some point when we're gonna.
Just hire Rotary to do it.
Well, we know that these two can't just completely run an event,
Everything, yeah.
especially not for.
Yes.
Yeah,
Sure,
I think, I think the good thing is you'll have somebody
Or
that's
find volunteers.
in charge of that aspect of it and say, here's the things we're gonna need, how do you guys
How do we
come up
get
with all
there?
this? Yes, how do we get there?
Right.
So they're gonna gather their information, then we're gonna have to figure out, well, okay, our city guys are gonna have to do this, we're gonna have to get help, volunteers, or hire people to do this, and so on and so forth. But a lot of the work is the booking and getting all that information gathered together to see what the event's gonna be and what your needs are for that event.
And I know this is a little bit off subject here, but I see us, we have a great acts, great staff of concession workers at our ball fields and at our swimming pool that we could also use for gatekeepers and other things over here at the amphitheater too.
And the good thing
They're
is-
already on the payroll.
So, well, you can also hire them as contract labor and they don't have to run through payroll. So there's two ways you can pay them. It's kind of like our umpires we use for the ball
Yeah.
fields over there. We do that as contract labor because they're not city employees, they're just contract umpires through the league and stuff like that. So there's several ways you can do it.
Sure.
You don't have to appoint them as a city employee in order to get them work over there. You can also contract with the people who run that part of it.
The other beauty of having a contract is, doing it with a contract labor, is that if we go, 6 months, 3 months, 2 months into this and we say, these guys say, wait, this is a lot more work than we ever anticipated, then they can sit down and visit with us, or if we say,
You're not working as hard
yeah,
as
we're
we
not getting,
anticipated.
we're not getting enough out of our money, then we can sit down and talk to you too. So there's, that's the good thing about the contract, that we can, adjust it. Yes, Kelly?
Well, I was at the city council chamber workshop,
Mm-hmm.
and at that point, you were talking about hiring a director of tourism.
We talked about that, and this group hasn't really made that decision yet. We felt that we needed some kind of an interim situation because we're on top of tourist season this year. So that's, definitely this is temporary, and if it goes well, we may choose to go that way for a long time, or we may
I just
not.
wanted that, yeah.
But we're talking, I think we're talking maybe
The
looking
biggest,
at.
the biggest thing is, Kelly, we haven't budgeted to hire somebody. So that's the discussion we have to have during the budget time and starting after June 15th is where do we want to go with it and how much money do we want to invest? Do we want to invest in contracting or do we want to invest in one employee? And that's the thing we got to decide dollar wise of what's the best bang for our buck and what are we going to get out of it. So that's kind of where we're at with it.
Do we have budget now
We do.
to start?
With a 1% fund, we do have budget to do that.
Is
Yes.
this through the end of the year, this contract?
I would, yeah, I can't see us not doing that. That's kind of up to you guys, that's not up to me.
Till the budget gets whatever till we make our decision.
Yeah, and we
Go
can discuss
forward.
that, depending on what we do,
Yeah. Yeah, we really haven't even come close to making that decision yet.
So, but you are right, Mayor, I did the same thing, checked to see what the cost of hiring somebody for that position is,
Mhm.
right in the
It
ballpark.
was more expensive than I thought it was.
Yeah.
I hated using the word temporary because it doesn't sound very good, but it really is kind of a temporary situation until we figure out what we want to do.
Yeah, and I made them
Whether
aware
this
of
will
that.
work.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
we'll see how it goes, and if it works, we may just stick with it, and,
Right.
but we still have to have a discussion during budget time, what we're gonna do. You guys are aware of that, I'm pretty
I'm not sure that we
clear on
are
that.
ready or willing to go that higher, 57 to 70 yet, depending on, we need to see how this all comes together.
Yeah. So, another thing is you're getting two for the price of one with these guys. Is that a thing you
Good
gotta
point.
And local people that know
And
what's
if
going
one of us
on.
isn't available, the other one can always
Yeah.
fill in, which is great.
Right.
You don't have that with one
I
position.
think everybody's made great points. It's just that I hate to, we just get the dollar amount here and we've got to make a decision, but I think you're all right.
Well, the problem with
I
that,
think we
Mark,
should
and
move forward.
I'll take the blame for that. I was whittling them down on their price. So, which I'm very good at doing. So I checked around, like I said, with Julie Roller, some other places to see what they thought of the prices, and I told them what their bottom dollar was, and they all said that if you can get that group for that cost and they do a good job, you're doing the right thing.
Well, I think the councilmen up here and the mayor have all made good points that we need to move forward on it.
I agree.
I would make a motion that we go ahead and approve the additional $2,000 a month to get them started. But through the end of the year? Or on a month-to-month basis?
I would say through the end of the year. I mean, we're gonna have to give you guys at
Time
least
to
an
The chance to
opportunity
get
to,
them to go, yeah.
to
Yeah.
just go month to month,
If we
don't
decide
have any-
to create a position, it could always start the first of the year, so you're right.
Well, it would start the first of the year, because that's the new budget year.
Yeah.
So that would be,
All right, through the end of 2021.
Okay, do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, Moved and seconded. Contract with Story Media for the amount of an additional $2,000 per month through the end of the year. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Welcome aboard again.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
you,
girls.
appreciate it.
Down the clock.
Yes.
Okay. The annexation committee recommendation, contracting Jay Newton.
So, the mayor and I talked last week, and we're talking about putting together a plan or a proposal for the City Lake annexation and some of the guarantees like sewer and water and things that would be required in order to probably come to an agreement. If you guys remember, Jason, you probably wouldn't remember, and I don't know, Larry, if you may have been here for it. But we talked about before COVID, contracting with Jay Newton, who consults with city and counties. He's been a county administrator, city administrator. He does a bunch of consulting. He's also the guy that recommended our current annexation lawyer, Jim Kopp. And I in turn talked to Jim Kopp about Jay being somebody to help us come up with a plan, and he said he would be a wonderful welcomed addition. So that's kind of where we're at with it. I know the mayor's wanting to get moving on this, and part of that is coming up with that proposal, and I think he'd be a great person to advise us on doing that. So,
And that, when we're talking about a proposal, we're talking about, correct me if I'm wrong, Ed, but we're talking about a proposal as to how the annexation, the steps, how it
yeah,
works.
so I think there's two pieces to it, Mayor. So part of it is they want a guarantee that we're actually gonna put water and sewer out there.
Mhm.
And I think we should give that to them. I don't think anybody disagrees with that. And anything else we decide or deem during the negotiation process should be included in that. The other piece is the plan to do the water and sewer and timelines and things like that. We will need assistance with. So, and Jay's done all that stuff. I talked to him on the phone a couple times last week. And he's excited to help us out and glad we're moving forward with that process. So his fee to do that is $500 a day plus mileage. I asked him, well, what if you go over 8 hours? He goes, well, I'm not gonna charge you for it. And he goes, I'm not gonna charge you time in a vehicle either. He goes, it's $500 a day when I'm there. I just want my mileage if I drive there. He doesn't anticipate having to be here a whole bunch. He wants to come to the City Annexation Committee meetings when Jim Kopp's here, because he wants to get up to speed on everything that's going on and things like that. So he's expressed interest in meeting with the council to discuss items that they think needs to be included or not included in that process. And I think it would be good for Bill also to be involved in that process as well.
We're looking at having the next meeting possibly on the 17th.
17th, yep. I was gonna send out an email today, but I ran out of time. So,
Okay. Possibly if that
Because
will
Jim is out of town next week. It's his first vacation in 3 years, so he said he was not going to cancel that to come here. And I said I don't blame him. So the next time he was available was the 17th, which is a Thursday, I believe.
Right, the day before.
Watch days.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
And,
that'd be at 5 p.m.
and Jim can be there here, and can he be here too at that time?
Jay
Jay.
said he was fine with it, and Jim said he was fine with it. So, and I have not reached out to. I talked to Chris Bolton today, and he said that's not an issue for him. And I think I can reach out to Julie and them, or Mayor, you can. It's up to you how you want to handle that.
I don't seem to have all their emails, so I think I'll go ahead and have you send an email out for that.
Okay, I can do that.
If everybody up here is agreeable with that, does that sound like a good day to have a meeting for y'all?
Do we need to have a vote on hiring him? Or
Yes, we do.
contracting with
Yeah.
him?
Yes, we do.
So before we have a
Yeah, we need to have a vote
meeting
on,
set,
yeah, we have to have, and then we'll have to go on the special meeting. I got ahead of myself, sorry.
you know, there's just a lot of bad information out there right now, a lot of misinformation. I think there's a ton of interest between the people that live in town and the people at the lake that really have a lot of questions because they don't really know what's going on, and I think it's time that we get something on paper so we can tell people this is what the intent is. I think we owe that to everybody involved.
Yeah.
I know, I was
That's a huge
approached.
step.
Yeah, I was approached last week by somebody who had visited with some people from the lake, and they were concerned that, it's, all that we were looking at was annexation, but it's not, it's a whole process of moving forward, working to get the services and things that need to be done out there, and, different things. So, yeah, we need to get that communicated, as sooner the better. So, okay. Anybody else have anything to say about that?
Also, there needs to be communications about the funding that we'll need to do that project up there. I mean, Nick says something about we ought to guarantee that we'll put it in there. I don't know about a guarantee, because we don't know if we're gonna get the funding.
Eventually we'll get the funding, Mark. I think the guarantee is that we're going to do it eventually, not, I think that there's a process.
I think our intent is yes to do it,
Right,
but,
I think that's what
we've got to
right.
jump through a lot of hoops to get that funding, so.
Yeah, I agree with you.
yeah.
Which is that brings up that other point, is that all that money is coming down for stimulus, and so we don't want to miss out on that.
Sure.
We want to get into that as soon as we can. Do I hear a motion to contract with Jay Newton?
So moved.
Okay,
A second.
okay. Been moved and seconded to contract with Jay Newton concerning the lake annexation proposal at a rate of $500 a day plus mileage, right?
Yes.
All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Thank you. And then, let's go ahead while we're talking about that. Can I have a motion to have a special meeting? It'll be an annexation committee
It'd
meeting,
just be a work study, Mayor.
work study,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
it.
yeah,
It wouldn't be a work,
right.
yeah,
It
you're
would be a
right.
work study.
Yeah, with the full
On
council.
on the 17th at 5 o'clock.
Work study on the 17th, June, at 5 p.m. with Jim Cock and Jay Newton.
At 5 p.m.?
5
Uh-huh.
p.m. Yep.
So, we do need to have a motion to have a work study.
I just have to put it in the paper.
Okay,
Yeah, we don't have to vote on that.
okay. It's the special meeting that we need to have. Okay, then we're good there. Okay. Anybody have anything else to talk about with annexation? Okay. Okay, let's move on to the PCT proposal for fire station camera system.
So if you remember a while back, we wanted to get a price to put cameras over at the fire station and then at the Riverwalk Park. The Riverwalk Park's a difficult one because we can't mount stuff to I have to get permission from Evergy to mount a camera and stuff to their pole, so I'm working through that process. They haven't told me no, but they haven't told me yes yet. So until I have that, TCT is not going to waste their time putting a proposal together, which is fine, I understand that. Because they don't know how they're going to mount it and do all those things if it's not allowed. So we may have to go a different direction with that. I've also brought up that Jay Troxel has offered to his building to do that. And there's could be some problems with that as far as who pays for the service and things like that. So I'm gonna working with Evergy to see if we can be allowed to mount to their pole, or we may just put our own pole in, one of the two. So I'm working through that process right now. As for the fire station, we met over there and they put together a proposal. I don't know if everybody remembers, we're already contract with them, or we already have their camera systems in here at City Hall, the street department and the water department, TCTs. So we'd just be adding on to what we already have with them and their infrastructure they have with that.
All those systems have been real reliable. now.
Yeah, and then if we have issues, it's real easy to get a hold of somebody and they'll come over and take care of it pretty quick. So it's been very helpful.
Who does the monitoring on that?
The city does.
City does?
The Sean and all his officers have access to it. I have access to it. The girls in the front office have access to it. So, so if there's an issue or something comes up missing or something's out of place, Ray's really good about. He really enjoys the cameras, so he likes to go through it and look at things. So, They've been very helpful with issues that have happened across the street here, things that have happened down at the water plant and street department, and things like that, so.
So are we ready to go ahead and vote on this quote?
Yeah, I mean, that's their quote. I mean, if you guys want to move forward with it, that would be the next step in it, so.
Will this come out of the fire budget?
It would come out, what we did with the other ones, we just took it out of infrastructure, Mark. So when we did it for City Hall, the water plant and the street department was out of infrastructure.
Do we not have the funds in the fire department to use?
Fire department doesn't have much money. I think their whole budget's less than $90,000. So,
Anybody have any other questions about this proposal?
So, well, just curious in terms of how long it will last. How long have these others been in place and have been working well?
we've had them in place for 2.5 years now.
Yeah, so I was
So
gonna say-
these ones here come with a 5-year manufacturer's warranty on them. So we'll get at least 5 years, probably a lot more than that. I think the guy I spoke to said the cameras they have, you usually get anywhere between 6 to 10 years. So which is pretty good depending on the weather and things like that.
Well, when you look at that and then the cost, it doesn't seem so much too.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing. We also put cameras over at the swimming pool. We fixed the system over there. They redid that system as well. So that was part of that process with the City Hall and the other 2 places.
And this number would be less the tax too, because they have tax.
Right, yeah, I know that, yeah. So the guy that they have doing this is new. And I don't know that he understands all that yet, so.
So the fire and police committee met on this? and
Yeah, we talked about this.
Recommended this?
Yeah.
and-
Yeah, we've talked about this. We talked about this. How long ago was that, Keith?
Oh, 2 months, probably, well, yeah, probably 2 months when we started.
Yeah.
And then it was something that was brought up when we were discussing all the other locations. This is kind of, it's a spot that's kind of wide open without any protection. There's a lot of people have access to the building. There's a lot of equipment in it, and it's kind of an unprotected area.
Right, so a good example is they'll go on fire runs and sometimes guys forget to close doors or whatever and stuff's just wide open for people just to walk in. Good thing is with the new fire chief, they went through and done an accounting of every item that's in that fire station. So we have a record of every item or serial number or whatever of every item that's in there now. So if something comes up missing or missing off a truck, we can have a better chance of figuring out what happened to it. The camera system will also help us because we have the keypad system will probably be the next thing we need to address. The keypad system is pretty dated and difficult and doesn't work half the time. So it's hard to change the code. So people who have previously been on the fire department, I found out, may still have a code to the fire station. So I just found that out within the last week and a half.
We can't change the code or?
The system is
Kind of antiquated.
it's pretty antiquated, and there was only one person that knew how to use it. And nobody else was taught how to use it, and that person is no longer with the fire department. So,
Is that keypad included in this? The new
it is
keypad?
not, that's a totally different person. So, if you've ever been to the fire station, there seems to be keypads on every door over there. What I've recommended doing, instead of changing all the door handles and door locks, is only having 2 keypad entries, one in the front and one on the side there where they enter, and then rekeying all the other ones, and those other keypads would just be dead. They wouldn't work. Otherwise, you'd make several $1,000s replacing all those door handles and keypads and all that stuff. And I talked to Jesse about it, the new fire chief, and he agreed that's what needs to be done. So, and I'm working on finding a company that actually does that stuff. You think it would be easy to do, but it is not.
So we will address that at another time, but right now we need to talk
Yeah,
about this.
so anyways.
Is that, or we can address it now if we want to, but we don't have fees yet. So does anybody want to make a motion concerning the fire station camera system?
I move we accept the proposal from TCT for the camera system at the fire station.
Excuse me.
$4,028.13.
I'll second it.
Okay. Been moved and seconded to approve the TCT proposal with the sales tax. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Okay. And then we can address, like I said, we can address key back. We have figured.
Yeah, I'm working on
Amounts.
finding somebody to do it. I have a couple phone calls in, a place in Manhattan, and then there's another place in Topeka I've called. I'm waiting to hear back from them,
Okay.
so.
Okay, moving on, Police and Fire Committee recommendation. This time I would like to appoint Dylan Webb to part-time police officer at a pay rate of $13.86 per hour, contingent upon passing the background check, physical and drug and alcohol screenings. And I would entertain a motion to approve that appointment.
So moved.
Okay,
I'll second.
okay, been moved and seconded to approve the fire and our Police and Fire Committee recommendation. All those in favor? Motion carries. Oh, excuse me. Opposed, I didn't say that. 6-0. Okay. Police Committee car replacement.
So this came up recently, so if you remember, last year we budgeted to get Sean a new police car, we didn't do it because of COVID. And we didn't, because we didn't know what sales tax was gonna do. Sales tax actually did really well. So we're at a point now where that vehicle is having several mechanical issues. It's got a really loud ticking noise, and Alan, the city's mechanic, checked it out, and he said it's a ticking time bomb. He said the motor's gonna go at any time in it. And I think my deal with it is, we want our police officers to have reliable vehicles. And this vehicle it's 2010 or 12, and has over 170,000 miles on it. You'd have more money invested in rebuilding the motor than what the vehicle's actually worth.
Talking about the little silver
Yeah,
car?
the silver one, yep. And it's got some front end issues now, Sean told me about today, and it's been used and it's used. So it's time to replace it. We probably should have replaced it last year, to be honest with you.
So do you have,
So I called the folks that we bought the 2 black Tauruses from, because I had Sean looking, he was looking at the state. And a lot of the state vehicles, they usually have a big inventory to choose from. They don't have that right now because they can't get chips for these new cars. So the state and everybody and the troopers and everybody, they're hanging on to their vehicles longer than they normally would because they can't get new cars right now. So I called Andy it's a company out of Andover, and I said, hey, do you know where anything's at? And he goes, yep, we just outfitted a brand new Chevy Tahoe for Cheney, Kansas. They have a 2018 Ford Interceptor utility vehicle with 50 or 55,000 miles on it in immaculate condition. And you guys can look through the pictures. It's a nice vehicle. They were asking 20, I offered them 18, and they said they would take 18 for it. So,
And the same, I'll throw this out too, because it came up last time. This comes with a lot of the equipment already in it, so you're not duplicating, you're not adding.
yeah, and I got a price to add the radar. We budgeted $25,000 for Sean to get a new vehicle, just so everybody's aware. The radar system is what we need added. We have a camera system, and they also have a camera system. They're not sure if it works. They're going to test it because it's the one that came out of that vehicle. But they can put a radar system in there for about $1,300. So that would the only thing that would really need to be added, and then the camera would have to be reinstalled that was taken out of it. So you're roughly talking probably about $2,000 to do all that.
The equipment's in our present police car. Would we pull that out and sell that equipment?
It's pretty dated, Mark.
So
The
you
camera's.
think you're suggesting we just sell the car as is?
So we'll take the things off of it that Sean thinks we can, or Jeff and them thinks is probably salvageable, like the spotlights and things like that off of it. But normally, depending on who we're selling to, if we're selling it locally here in town, we'd obviously strip the car down because you wouldn't want a resident having lights and sirens and all that stuff.
Sure.
But I foresee, I don't think that you're gonna make any money off of it selling it at an auction or anything because of the engine issue. I think that if you strip it down, you can sell it locally. A lot of times what we can do is like with KCOM or whoever, when we have issues with radars or cameras in our other vehicles, we're able to use the ones we have from other vehicles that we've taken it out of, or take parts from those and make one of them work. KCOM is really good about doing that for us.
Does it have 4-wheel drive on it?
Yes, I think it's an all, I believe it's an all-wheel drive, from what he told me, yep.
Who does the graphics for us?
We do Redbud Design Prism.
So what you're saying is we're under budget.
Yeah, I'm at, by the time we're done, probably around $5,000 under budget on the deal. So,
Good move to me.
I've made a statement to both police and fire, if there's anything they need that's in the interest of safety or being more efficient, then you'll probably get a yes from us anytime, and this fits into that category.
yeah, and I think the thing was, Sean was good about last year, understanding that, hey, we don't know what sales tax is gonna do, and he was patient about it and didn't make a big deal. But after he pulled up in that thing, and I was getting out of my car, and I said, what is wrong with your car? And he said, well, Alan looked at it, and he said, it's just one tick away from blowing up. So, I mean, it's loud. And he thinks it's a rod bearing or something like that that's going out in it. So, and to be honest with you, the Chargers have not been good vehicles. We spent a lot of money maintaining those and fixing them, and we spent a lot of money on those two cars. So, I'm not sad to see it go.
That's what I was getting ready to ask you. It's a good thing. I'm glad you said that, because I know that Emporia is getting ready to get rid of all theirs and get new ones. They're in the process of doing that.
Yeah.
But they're getting all Chargers again, so.
That's because the reason people buy Chargers like the state and everybody, they're the cheapest. They get the best deal on those, but then at 50,000 miles, they get rid of them. And they become somebody else's problem. We know those cars, I think the black one, around 80,000 miles, 80 or 90,000 miles, we had to rebuild the whole top end of that motor. So, I mean, so the black car's got basically a new motor in it. And this car's not worth doing that to.
Oh, we've had it for a long time.
Yeah, I think, God, it was before I got here. I've been here 3.5 years. I think you guys had it. When did you guys buy those, Mark? Do you recall?
I remember voting on them when I was still on council, so that's been a long time ago.
I remember, I just don't remember the exact year.
I don't want to say you guys bought them in 14 or 15.
Are we budgeting next year for another car then?
Me and Sean haven't talked about that. I think we're going to look at that, yeah, depending on what the budget looks like. Because what we had talked about doing, and we didn't do it last year, was rotating the car out every year or every 2 years.
Right.
Because what we were doing is keeping them until they're not worth anything, and all we do is spend money, put money into them on a worn out, dilapidated car. So
Well, if we could keep finding deals like this where they're already equipped,
Yeah.
it's a no-brainer.
So this guy up in Andover is really good. What they do is they're outfitters for police cars. That's what they do. Somebody brings in a brand new Chevy Tahoe, they tear it down, install all the lights, everything, all the bells and whistles in it for it to be a police vehicle.
Place is impressive.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Keith
Yeah,
went with me and John
yeah.
Stone when we picked up those other two. One of the things I told Andy is that we want to come look at it before we buy it. I said I can get probably the council to approve it, but it's going to be pending checking the vehicle out and making sure there's no issues with it.
Maybe you can take our mechanic.
That's my plan. Me and Sean and Alan, we're going to go up and look at it. So that was the plan.
Okay, so is that a motion that you're?
So moved.
Okay.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded to replace the police car before the old one blows up.
There you go. You guys hear the motor in it. You can probably hear it when he's driving down the street. It's so loud.
I guess I should say at 18,000?
Yep.
Okay.
And then the other stuff I have the authority to approve, the radar system and all that when I get ready to do all that.
And the major come out of
It'll come out of equipment reserve, or actually I have Sean's budget, I'm sorry.
Sean's budget.
Yep.
All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Okay. We're ready for governing body comments. We're going to start with, let's start with you, Jason.
I don't have anything.
Okay. Mark?
Yes, Mayor, I have one thing. A couple of days ago, we talked about maybe having a kickoff at the new amphitheater with some local talent. And Max Byram was interested in doing that. I got a text from him today that Chris Siegel any of you know him, Bill England, Ken England, Bill Cunningham, Bill Hurt, he's a local mandolin player, Keegan Benning, Brett Fry, Derek Ziegenhurt, and Max would love to come and do a small, venue type concert. And they'd probably need a sound guy. Max said $200 would cover that, and the rest of the guys would play for pizza. So, I don't know if we want to have any more conversation about that.
Did they have a date?
It'd be Wednesday, I think.
Wednesday, yeah. And the thing
Yeah.
I told Mark about that is hopefully the weather cooperates and the guys can get everything cleaned up down there and it's usable by that date. That's what we're going for, and our guys are aware of that. But if it continues to rain and stuff, we're going to be in a time crunch to get stuff done. So it may or may not happen, depending on the weather and how much time we have, how long it takes to clean things up down there.
Talking the 9th of June?
Yeah.
9th of June.
Yeah, it's a Wednesday, I believe.
Sounds like a good deal.
Is that time?
Yeah, we'd have to do all that still, but Max he'll take care of everything. I mean, he's done these things. I think it'd be really good just to kind of see how things go, so that when we have Michael Martin Murphy down there, that if there's any bugs we need to work out, we'll know about them ahead of time.
Yeah.
So-
Give us a couple
If it's
days.
a trippy place or anything else, we'll be aware
Should
of
they
it.
contact Story Media?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can
Well,
get it.
Mark said he'll pick up the
Probably
pizza, so.
Mark will pick up the pizza?
Yep.
All right. No. He does not need to pick up the pizza.
I don't know if we could use Story Media for something like this to at least get the word out, maybe.
Yeah, I think that'd be fine, and they've expressed interest in doing that, so, that's where the original idea came from, was from Deidre. She says, what do you think about this? And I said, well, I know, let me run it by a few people, and I said, let's see what everybody thinks. I said, I think it'd be a good thing. I think it's good for the community, because it gives them it's their amphitheater,
Yeah.
so they should probably have the first right to christen it.
And it's it's a free
It's
free
free, yep.
concert,
Free
so,
concert,
they're
yep.
fun.
And I think it's neat that the local musicians and people that are interested want to take part in it. I
Well,
think
they're
it's
pretty excited about
a pretty
it,
neat way to launch it myself.
so.
Sounds really neat.
Good idea.
So, I don't even know if we need to vote on that.
Well,
do
if
we?
we're gonna
Yeah,
have to buy.
if we're gonna pay $200 for sound and
And
then
pizza?
pizza, yeah.
Okay. And we just don't know time yet, but we know the date.
Yeah, we could probably pick a time now if you guys have.
I would
a time in
imagine
mind.
like a 6 to 8 or 6 to 9 or something like
Yeah.
that, if they want to play.
Then you don't have to worry about lights.
Yeah, that's
We
what
can
I'm saying.
say from 6 to 9,
Good
and then
point.
whenever they want to stop, they can stop.
Sure, let's do that.
Okay.
So,
So do I hear a motion to go forward with the free?
I'll make that motion.
Jason? Second?
Second, let her have it.
Okay, Sharon, I'll let you have it. Okay, so it's been moved and seconded to go forward with a free concert for the community on Wednesday, June the 9th, from 6 to 9,
barring,
barring the weather or not being prepared for
Yes.
some reason. And to spend $200 on a sound guy and some more on pizza.
that work.
Okay, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. 6-0.
That just sounds pretty good, right?
Fun.
Thanks for bringing that up.
Yes. Okay. Anything else, Mark?
No, thank you. That's it for me tonight.
That'll be fun. Okay, Keith?
I don't have anything tonight, Mayor, thank you.
Okay. Mark?
Yes, I talked to Nick, and I told him I was gonna bring it up today. I'd like to ask the council permission to ask Nick to seek bids to get the concrete work done on the North Belfry project that we have slated to be done this year before we lose part of that street off the side of the hill. We also have several broken bollards, concrete bollards along there that have been run into. One was hit by lightning, and there was a wreck up there last year. And those need to be repaired too. So I was hoping that we could do that whole project at the same time. I do know that Hartman is kind of looking for work right now, so.
Yeah, I think, just before I got here, I think the bid then was around $15,000 or $20,000 to fix that.
Yeah, there's quite a cave underneath that street, right there at where it curves back onto Con. And I think there's all kinds of wild varmints living back in there, but I'm just assuming they'll just wall that up and then cut a hole in that concrete street and fill it full of concrete, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know either, so.
But that street's slated to get over
seal, yeah.
chip and seal, and I thought this work ought to get done before that's done.
Yeah. So I'm fine with that. You
Okay.
guys are?
So,
That was actually a 2020 project.
Yeah.
We didn't do because we didn't know what COVID was gonna do to
Right.
funding.
okay. So, somebody want to move to ask Nick to go forward on getting bids, or do we?
Well, we need to get bids.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
need to
I'll
get
make
bids.
that motion,
Okay.
get the bids on the North Belfry project.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay. Who was seconded? To have Nick move forward on getting bids on North Belfry concrete needs and things like that. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 6-0.
The second thing I have, Mayor, is we drastically, and Nick and I have discussed this too, we drastically need some riprap down there on the Riverwalk, down by the walking bridge. Councilman Hahn and I were down the other day. On the west side, we basically lost almost all our riprap right there south of the footbridge.
When was this?
When
you guys were down there? Because we've put some
When we went
back.
down, oh, it's not there.
When
That was last
Last
week,
week.
wasn't
Yeah, so I can't remember
Yeah.
what day it was last weekend.
it? Yeah.
So we have some we can put in there, Mark. That's something.
It needs a lot. We're about ready, it's washed out so much, it's almost up to the sidewalk
Yeah,
up there, so.
yeah, because you go down there and watch, they're releasing a bunch of water, it swirls
Yeah.
on the edges of that bridge and eats it out.
Well, to give a historical fact about that river cut back that way before they changed the river channel. And that's just what it's trying to do. It's just trying to go back the way it always did before, and it's just, it looks.
And I'll have to talk to Gary Kepley to see if we have to get something in order to
Yeah.
do that. So-
And I think we need it on, actually, I think we need it on both sides.
Well,
so-
and it's been trying to think when Wildcat Concrete did the sidewalk lifting over there. That was last year sometime.
Yeah.
Me and Jeff Barber looked at that then. That's something that's on the agenda, was on the
Okay.
list of things to do.
All right.
So,
And we looked at it again when we were down there on the North Riverwalk,
Yep.
walking it.
yep. So we were hoping there was some of that riprap left over from down there along by the.
It doesn't look like
But
it's
it
gonna
wasn't.
be, yeah.
It wasn't as much as they thought down there, so.
It's gonna take quite a bit.
Yeah.
We're gonna need a sizable
There's not
amount.
much left there.
Yeah,
West
it's
side.
pretty much gone.
Yeah, so I'll have to go through the Corps and see if there's a permitting I need to.
It shows you what flood water can do over time, and, you know, it's done that. And the last thing I'll do, and then I'll shut up, is I think that the council needs to look at a transient tax, a hotel tax, bed tax, a city transient tax. Most cities have them. All we have here is a county transient tax, and that's collected by the county. If we're looking at possibly creating a position, a CBB director or whatever, the transient tax could help fund that position or that department. And so,
Or even if we continue to contract, it could pay for.
or whoever, yeah, whatever we
Yeah.
decide to do, that could be a funding option for that. And, you know, this is just, the cost is just passed on to the guest. The hotel or bed and breakfast just charges a little bit more for that transient tax. So I just think we ought to do it, or we ought to at least look into doing it.
Larry, you will know the answer to this. Do the houses that rent here have transient tax?
I
Like
have
the young
no
house
idea.
and the Brad, oh, I thought you might
I have
know
no
that.
idea.
Airbnbs.
Nope.
Yeah, I don't know if the Brad,
If you stay 30 nights, you do not have to pay transient bed tax. Anything under that, you have to pay transient bed tax.
okay.
Airbnbs, bed and breakfast,
VRBOs, all of that.
all that has to pay.
Okay,
And we're getting more and more of those downtown with the
Thank you,
upstairs
Ryan.
lofts, so.
yeah. What about gas tax? I don't know anything about that, but that might be something we could look into too. But I'm thinking that that is something that we need to maybe discuss during budgeting time. And, then we can research a little bit more and then bring that
Maybe
through with
between
the
now and then,
budgeting time. So,
Maybe it'd be nice to research it before we go to
Yeah.
budget, so we
Yeah.
actually have the information.
so we can make some
But I
things.
think we could, a lot of isn't Abilene, that's how they fund a lot of theirs is through transit
Yeah.
tax.
Theirs is a gas tax.
Yeah, there's a gas tax that creates, I don't know, $170-some thousand a year, which is what funds their CBB there.
So there's options out there.
no.
So,
But I'm not sure, doing something, I'm pretty sure you would have to have it voted on.
mhm.
It'd have to be a ballot question.
For the gas tax.
For the gas tax
And the
and the transit tax.
Okay.
That would have to be voted on, and we're kind of past the deadline to do that, obviously, as of today. So that wouldn't be something we could do probably this year.
Well, depending on, it's better if you attach it to another vote, if you do it early enough that you're going to attach it to another vote.
Yeah, I think,
So,
yeah, so I think commissioners are
Commissioners
up
are
next, there's some commissioners that are up next year, so next year would be, well, yeah, next year, we would be able to attach it to that and get it on there.
Well, that would give us enough time to research it and the council to decide if they wanted to do it or not. But that's okay, that's all I have, Mayor.
Okay.
I have nothing this evening, Mayor.
Good.
Thanks, Mark, for that suggestion. I think that's gonna be great to put that down at the amphitheater and open it
Oh,
up.
thank you.
It's great. That's all I have.
Okay. Bill?
No, Mayor, thank you.
Nick?
So Robert McDonald, who owns the old dealership, has requested, we have a little piece of property that's right behind that building, and according to Kim McClintock, is where the old jailhouse sat at one time. That was deeded to the city, I think, in 1840. I think that sounds right. He is asked to have that deeded back to him. He's actually the one taking care of it, mowing it, and all those things. I don't have a problem with it. The attorney would have to come up with, Bill would probably have to come up with transfer of deed. And the fees for that, which Robert probably would pick up, or should pick up, since we're giving him the property, is, one page is $21, and if it's a two-page deed, it's $38. So that's the price of doing that. And I can pass this around. The address is 0000 West Main Street. So it's 14 by 5 foot, north 30 foot is how big it is. It's not a very big piece of property.
That's where,
So behind the dealership building there, in that alley? There, it's right there. Well, I'll pass this map around, yes.
It's almost the exact footprint of that jail,
Yeah.
that square back
So
there.
that's spot
So
here.
14 feet by 5 feet? What was it, 38? he
There
said?
is
Oh,
14
okay.
by 30.
Oh,
That
14.
piece right there. The city owns it. We didn't know we owned it, and we actually got a tax thing on that we own it. That's happened a few times since I've been here. We've gotten information that we own property we didn't know we owned.
I knew the jail went there, but I didn't realize that we had owned it.
Ryan, oh, it's Ryan, told him Robert, doing that to him. Ryan McDonald.
I don't see the jail ever being returned to that location.
Well, we're trying to get rid of all those little pieces.
I'm hungry,
there, so-
evidently.
Okay, there's one here, it is right there.
So,
Ryan.
Ryan. So,
Do I hear discussion on that or a motion?
I know when Larry, Keith, and I met down there, I don't think we seen an issue with doing that, because we met him about the alley. And he brought it to our attention that we actually own that, and we did a little research in that, and we sure do, so.
Well, the mayor just said, we've talked about, we're trying to get rid of all these little pieces of land that we own, that we don't have really any
Right.
business owning.
Yep. We have several of those. That makes sense.
I'd make a motion that we need that back to Ryan McDonald.
The bad part is I have his name written out correctly on my sheet here.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to, and with him paying the deed fees, right? That's what you were saying?
Jason?
Yes.
With him paying the deed fees, okay. The It's been moved and seconded to deed back the 0000 West Main Street to Ryan McDonald for deed fees.
Can I ask you a question?
Uh-huh.
Is there any issues you see any with that? Okay.
I really don't. I mean, you know, it's,
Well, it's like we've been trying to get these cleaned up. This is
yeah.
definitely one of those.
Yeah, there's not much we could do with that.
No.
piece of ground, so. I looked at it the other day and thought, I didn't think we had anything right here.
How about you?
Yeah, I can't imagine moving the jail back to that location again, so.
Not gonna draw a lot of tourists.
No,
No.
no.
That's what the county appraiser's office.
Thank you, I didn't mean to
Sure,
interrupt
no,
you.
I'm glad you said that before we voted, so. Any other questions? Okay, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 6-0.
That's all I have.
That's all you have? Okay. I have just one thing, and this is just something that struck me the other day, and if you guys think, you may have reasons that we shouldn't do this, but I was wondering if maybe toward the end of summer, beginning of fall, we might want to have a city employee picnic. We didn't have the Christmas party last year.
Usually we do that, Mayor. I usually, for some reason, they've always done it in the hottest month of the year, which is June, July, which is terrible because you just sweat and there's
Yeah.
flies everywhere.
I guess I just don't remember it last year.
We didn't do it last year with COVID. We did it the year before.
Year before, did we do it?
Yeah,
Okay.
because I rolled
I
a whole
missed
bunch
that one
of
then.
food, so, but yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay.
I would love to have it in the fall when it's nice and cooler out.
Yeah, it would be a little bit better. We just have to work around ball games and stuff, maybe do it right before school starts.
Yeah.
So anyway, but I just think since we didn't have that, the Christmas party last year, we need to be sure to do that. So, okay.
I forgot one thing.
Mhm.
I got one now too.
The meeting about the vault that we had with the ball tournament, that Councilman Berner and
Oh,
Mayor.
yeah, that's
Oh, yeah.
right.
Yeah.
We were given an opportunity, Rose, the other day, to host a state Babe Ruth tournament here, 13 to 15-year-olds. And so we had a meeting, Councilman Berner, Nick, and Mayor, and I, and Justin. And it was our consensus that we move forward on it. It's gonna cost the city $1,250.
Can you confirm that?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Actually, I think it's $1,200 for that. The host team would be out of Council Grove. They have agreed to, one of the stipulations for the host city is to put on a picnic for all the families that come to town. They've agreed to do that. We also have to supply a hotel room for the state commissioner who comes here. I negotiated that today, and Prairie Lodge is going to donate the room for the commissioner in exchange for a full-page ad in the program.
Okay.
And they, the host team also agreed that they would arrange for gatekeepers. So it was kind of the consensus, I guess, of the group that we thought it was be very good for the community. July 26th through, July 22nd through the 26th.
Yep.
They'll come in here on a Thursday. They'll all check in. There'll be a fun swim at the swim pool for all the players. First there'll be the picnic, then there'll be the fun swim, and then they'll start playing ball games. And they'll play probably from 9 o'clock in the morning until 9 or 10 o'clock at night.
It's gotta help the town.
Oh, what do we guess?
About 600,
Five to 600 people.
Wow, for 3 days.
And,
It's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
and so, the thing is, this really, and for people who know me, I've been pushing this for years to do these tournaments. If we get our foot in the door, we could do one of these every year, because they love Council Grove, absolutely love what we have here and what we do and who we are. So, yes, there's a little bit of investment, but we're gonna make that back so much in sales tax, and our businesses uptown are gonna benefit from it. Our hotels will all be full. So I guess, Mayor, do you want a motion on that?
Yes.
Do you want to move it?
Yeah, so moved.
Okay. Do I hear a second?
Same.
Okay, we moved and seconded to host the Babe Ruth tournament for
13 to 15.
13 to 15, at a cost of $1,200, which we do keep the gate, so that could possibly be paid back.
Well, it should easily,
Yeah.
with advertisement for the program, gate, and snack shack, we're gonna make money.
Right, that money will come out of special rec. So,
Okay, all those in favor? Opposed, motion carries. 6-0.
Sorry, I forgot about that.
Nope, that's okay.
Nick, you have one more thing?
my evaluation, Mayor, you left that off your list.
Oh, yeah, I didn't put that on. We're needing to do
A special meeting.
a special meeting to do next valuation. Time has come for that. And he's gonna bring pizza for all of us.
There again, the pizza thing, yeah.
Is there a date?
No, that's what we gotta decide, when you guys
Oh,
wanna do
okay.
that. Realistically, the end of the month would probably be the best, because I gotta meet with the office committee and several other committees to talk about, employee evaluations that'll be done, and then decide if we're doing raises and all that stuff.
28th,
What day is that, Mark?
it's a Monday.
I'm gonna start my week off like that.
I don't know. I'm not sure that I'll be able to be
Or
there
we
on the
can end your
28th. I can
month
try.
that way.
What day works for you, Mayor?
The 29th, the rest of the week's fine. It's just that.
29th?
29th would be fine with me. I'll give you time to get together with everybody and get that all taken care of.
Do we want to do that at 5 o'clock then?
That's fine. Should be short, right?
Painless.
Yeah.
Tuesday the 29th at 5 PM.
Uh-huh.
And I'll put that in the paper when the time comes.
Yes, I did leave that off, sorry.
It's all right.
Okay. If anybody doesn't have anything else, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Okay, second? Second.
Who was first, Bucker? Oh, Vernon.
Been moved and seconded to adjourn, all in favor? 6-0, thank you.